Well, hey everybody, it's your good buddy 650 Eve here. Welcome back to the channel. You might not recognize this location because this is somewhere new for me, but I'm at Motomillion's headquarters here in beautiful sunny Miami. We got Manny behind us.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, and we're going to do some fantastic work today on my beautiful Panigale, as I fall over backwards, my beautiful Panigale V4 R. Manny from Motomillion is going to install some of his exquisite and awesome parts onto the machine. You may have seen in my last video, our good friend Kyle from Ducati Cleveland installed most of the parts, well, transferred most of the parts from my 2019 Panigale onto the beautiful new 2023. Well, that wasn't satisfactory for Manny, so he's gonna put some of his amazing parts on this beast. I'm super excited, Manny.
Yeah,
super excited.
I'm excited to have you here because every time you come, you bring an arsenal of bikes.
Yes.
And you always have the newest and the greatest.
Yes.
We try to keep up with you. It's kind of hard.
Well, you're doing a good job. I see an SP2 behind you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We thought we'd put it on display for you, show all his guts and internals. But this is, I think this is the it bike, other than the M1000 RR for this year. And man, pictures don't do any of these machines justice. No. I think this looks actually, so the M1000, that's a different story, but this bike actually looked good in pictures, but in person, oh my goodness.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes, and Kyle's done an amazing job because thank you, Kyle. I don't want to install this exhaust again. We already did this on this, pulled it off. I have to put it back on. So that's a big job. But and your V4R, you were one of the first people to get it.
Yes.
And you know, the parts that were on it were amazing parts for the time.
Yes.
But we're 4 years ahead now. There's even loads of other parts, and there's some changes that are done on these bikes. Very small changes, but I think they're big enough that there's some changes in parts that we want to. I think, you know, it won't be kind to this bike if we just say, hey, let's just transfer the parts and call it a day, because that's not what we do here, right?
Right. Thank God.
Let's make this and I like the number 33, by the way.
It's one of my favorite numbers, and our good buddy Jim Caviezel also has that number on his Superleggera V4.
Yeah. But let's, you know, let's kind of skim through the bike and let's see what we can do. I think there's a lot of stuff that we could do. When you buy an exhaust for $8,200, it comes with these plastic extension pieces.
Okay.
So on the older exhausts that you bought from Akrapovic, or I guess their dealership, which supplies you with an Akrapovic exhaust, you had to change the whole belly pan on the previous model of V4s before the 2022 update.
Yeah.
And this bike is going full carbon, so we didn't put this piece on it. But what we're gonna do is, we're gonna put this carbon fiber exhaust extension piece that doesn't come with an $8,200 exhaust, but I think also the color finish of this matches your factory carbon fiber that you were insistent about, the satin carbon fiber. So everything that goes on this bike today is going to be satin carbon, but I just want to show you this. We're going to have to do some stuff for here that we hold this in place. We don't have the clips, but I think what we're going to do is, if you realize on your M1000, when Zach ever took it off, if you're around, all of the panels on that bike are carbon, and they were all held in place with engineering glue, which is probably better than these clips that this has. You can see the clips here. Number one, you see one of them already lost because of vibration. Yeah. So it's gonna, so it's gonna hold it in place better. But this is our engineering glue that we have. It's an epoxy. Okay. And we're gonna use it on there. We're gonna let it dry while we do all the other stuff, and we'll get this back on the bike. And I think I already really like the contrast.
I do too.
Between the red and this carbon fiber piece. And it's gonna, once we put it on there, it's gonna tie the whole bike together with all the other carbon parts on it. Guys, I said we're not gonna spill the beans on what we're gonna install, but here it is. Here's one of the beans. So this is your front subframe or your headlight fairing stay. As you might know or not know, the Ducatis don't have conventional frames like other bikes do. The engine is basically in the middle, your rear subframe gets attached to it, your swing arm gets attached to it, and your front subframe / your headlight fairing gets attached to it. It's this magnesium piece that's here. That's the Ducati signature magnesium color. This replaces the whole structural unit. And if you guys don't know, this is kind of what we're about. It's I'm in this business just because I love bikes and I love stuff like this. Because even the Superleggera, I don't think has this.
It does not. It has the magnesium.
And this is lighter than the magnesium one, guys. If you don't believe it, we have a YouTube channel. We weighed it. We put it on this beautiful SP2, and in here, if you take a look, we have it satin carbon and the gloss carbon we put underneath just to make it pop.
It does pop.
Yeah, so I think because it kind of because if you make everything that, because on your bike it's going to pop because it's colored.
Yes.
But on this bike over here, because everything's going to be carbon on this bike and we're going to stick with the SP2 theme,
Yeah.
I want it to pop because then it's just going to be kind of not forgotten, but I think it just adds that little contrast.
I like it, man. I do.
Yeah, but now we're going to take this bike apart to install this. It's not too hard, actually.
Yeah.
At least I kind of got used to it. And yeah, let's get it done. I'm actually excited because I want to see it. It deserves it.
You poking and prodding on stuff?
Yes. Luckily, we have prior experience.
Okay.
They've changed these fairings a little bit compared to the 21, I guess 18 to 21 model years.
Yeah.
So like this part here, if you don't know, you kind of can't have to yank this off like that.
Okay.
And then you do these reverse Lambo doors.
Oh, okay.
This comes off.
Yeah.
Just like that. You like how your bike's looking?
You know, I like how it's gonna look when it's all done, for sure.
I appreciate that you have the confidence for letting me do this to your bike.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you're really the only company that really does this kind of stuff. I don't know of anybody else that tests stuff out and buys bikes for the purpose of making sure that your parts work on them and stuff like you've been doing.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, it's out of passion.
Yeah.
We love these things, and that's why sometimes you guys ask us, hey, why don't you get parts for so-and-so bike? It's just unfortunately not the area of interest for us, and that's how we want to keep it, because I think when you have this passion that we have for the bikes, it really keeps the, let's say that keeps the fire going, because and when we get these new bikes, it's we can see all the changes.
Yeah.
And look at the smile on my face.
I see.
I'm a little kid when I do this stuff, man. You know, when you're little kids, you play with Legos, and now you play with this. It's basically the same thing. You buy a Lego, it has instructions on how to do it. With these things, you know, you have all your shop manuals and stuff, and when you've done it enough, you just know how to get stuff out.
Yeah. That's amazing. This magnesium ferrite doesn't look bad when it's all uncovered like it is, but when it's on the bike, it's the only thing that's magnesium on the machine, and it kind of sticks out to me. So I'm happy you're replacing it with this satin carbon fiber fairing.
You see, actually the engine covers are magnesium if you come to this side.
Oh, let's see.
But
they're all covered. Yeah.
Mostly covered, and you barely get to see it, right? And you have to kind of make that connection. Hey, this is magnesium, that's magnesium.
Yes.
And well, you could get these covers in CNC machined aluminum too to match this.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So sometimes I say, is the juice worth the squeeze? In this case, sometimes I think it'd be cool, but sometimes I think it's too much. But we have customers who've done it that really want that special bike.
Yeah.
Both covers you could get it, but I think for the purposes of this, it's kind of cool to keep the engine like that though.
Yeah, I think so. Still,
8.5.
yeah, 125. Yep.
And I know we're going to get some comments. People are going to say, oh my goodness, if you lose weight,
yes,
you're going to save that ounce. But when I hear that, I turn back and say, imagine if you lose weight and your bike loses weight.
Right.
And this is, oh, this doesn't balance. Oh, there we go. It's not even a pound, guys.
Wow.
So 8.5 plus 1.5, 10 ounces later.
Now, did that switch to metric on us?
No, it's just memory.
Okay.
It has a memory on it. I guess we press something to to memorize the old part. So there you go, 13.5.
Wow. Ounces.
Yeah.
Insane.
So it's actually 11 ounces later.
Yeah.
And it's impressive because Ducati uses magnesium not because of the pretty color that they finish it in. Mm-hmm. They use it because of the lightness that magnesium brings. And if anyone's in the aviation world, there's a lot of magnesium used in aviation because of the lightweight characteristics that it has, and also the rigidity it has. But now, thanks to technology, carbon fiber is out. It's been out for a long time. Since the 80s, it's been getting used in commercial applications, not just military applications. And as you see, you could save 10 ounces, but I didn't realize like that 10 or 12, whatever ounces that we're saving, that it's this noticeable.
Yeah.
Because this actually feels heavier. It's even, I want to say probably this is even more top heavy than this, because that's why when you do this, you could kind of feel it.
Yes.
But yeah, so there you go, guys. It's actually lighter.
You're dusting off the TFT gauges?
Yes, so since we have this off, it's a lot easier to apply this Shieldatron instrument cluster cover. you put it on your phone. Why not on this piece? Because this is probably a lot more expensive than your phone.
I'd say so.
And a lot more expensive than you think.
Yeah.
And also the other part is that this is tied to your key on your bike. So your BBS and your key, everything is tied into this. It's pretty expensive to replace and program.
Yeah.
But we're going to give it a shot. It's all red like this because it helps us to place this in here. But let me get this done, and once it's done and beautiful, I'll show it to you.
Okay.
I don't want to scare. Some people actually prefer to wet this down and do it.
Yeah.
You could do it with just soapy water. Don't use Windex because I think Windex kind of ruins the film.
Yeah.
But if you use soapy water, you could also try to do it so that there's no dust that's left behind. So Eve, we got your instrument cluster cover.
Yes, filth plastic.
And we're going carbon fiber.
I love it.
It's 3 pieces because this, you have to bend it like this to take it out.
Yes.
Carbon doesn't bend. That's why this is 3 pieces. And you asked me about the sticker.
Yes.
We could reuse the sticker. It's metal. You got to heat it up, get it out. And we did that on the SP2. But we have another way. I didn't use this because we didn't have this at the time. And this is official stickers.
Oh, wow.
So these stickers cost a lot more than you think.
Okay.
Because they're official licensed Ducati stickers.
Yeah.
We're going to use one of these. I think it's going to look a lot better because this is recessed in here in the plastic for this to fit in, and this has a thickness to it. And I think these stickers look nicer.
They do.
And hey guys, it's lighter too.
Right.
We're playing around with puzzle pieces, guys. This is supposed to go in here.
A little prep work for this assignment, huh?
Yep, I just cleaned it up with some alcohol. Well, this is not the alcohol, but this is the alcohol right here. If it was Jared Campese, he'd use a fine bottle of whiskey.
Yes.
But we use rubbing alcohol here.
Yes.
And let me show you guys something in case I'm...
Michael Knights, I love him.
I messed it up.
That's okay.
Turning it up, don't worry.
So the V4s, I think this was in the V4R's previous generation that they got these little covers.
Yeah.
And these covers are just to cover up the frame where they made a hole. And they made this hole on this bike, well, on these chassis or the frames, whatever you want to call it, because they want to add a little bit more flex to the frame to give more feel to the rider on track. Obviously on street, I don't know anyone who would notice that. And
Right.
if you do, good for you. I
Yes.
don't.
Me neither.
But so when you're doing your frame covers, you could either keep these on, which I wouldn't because it adds to the thickness of it. If you take a look here, it's just not flush with here.
Yeah.
So it throws everything off. Or what we do is you could remove them. You could also, some people might want to cut them, but again, I don't want to go through the trouble of cutting. But if I grab the correct side for you guys, that way you could put your frame cover right on here. Then it goes on like this. There we go. So now this fits perfectly on here.
It does, and it covers the
as
hole.
you can see. Yep.
Yep.
And I could probably let it go and it's going to stay there. And then what we use on the frame covers are, you could use double-sided tape if you want. But usually when you put these things on, you don't want to take them off anyways. Or if you have to take them off, you could use silicone adhesive, which is this one right here. And I believe it's the it's right here, Permatex 80050. And any AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts or any other auto store will sell this. And basically what this is when you remove this, there might be some residue left that you could like pick it off, but it's not going to pick off the paint off your frame.
Nice.
So that if you ever go down, the whole point of this thing is to protect your frame, but also it looks beautiful if you ask me.
It does.
And it's going to look better once you dress it up with the bodywork because it's just going to peek out just a little bit. But basically this is the best solution because when we put these on, we'll put zip ties around it. You guys will see to pull it flush into the frame. There's basically going to be no thickness to it. So this is going to fit on like a second skin on here. Whereas when you put double-sided tape, there's no way to get rid of it. And also with the overtime, the dirt, grime, water gets in there and it just starts loosening things up and you start getting rattling. So we got your throttle off while the silicone dries because we want to put our Ducati gas control unit,
Yes,
which
just
is
right
right
here.
there, which this piece will cover this piece over here. One thing we realized is that there's no throttle slop anymore.
Nice.
So for all you guys, when we were installing either the throttle spacers or had our machined tubes that we call it the no slop throttle, that was saying it was intentional by Ducati, it's part of the tune. It wasn't, guys.
Yeah.
And some of your Triumph guys have the same issue, but this is nice. For the stock throttle, this has 0 play.
Yes.
And this has our no slop throttle that has 0 play as well. And we have the same unit right on here.
Nice.
And one thing that we noticed is this is a different throttle unit now, because if you take a look, this is our TPS sensor on the SP2, and this is our TPS plug for our V4R, which is totally different. I think this is probably a revised electronics package that the V4R has compared to the other models, and that's why this is different, because this throttle unit is completely different from any other V4, V4S models that we've seen in the SP2, obviously. So, change of plans,
Yes.
new bike, and this is what we like doing here to figure stuff out. The Duca bike, the throttle control unit doesn't work, or I'm not going to try it because this throttle is completely different and we need a piece from the stock one to cover this hole right here when we open it. So I think it's best bet to say this doesn't fit the new V4R. I'm sure there's going to be something that's going to come out that we'll have and we'll show on our website. And for you guys who shop from us, thank you so much. But also please make sure to read in the description of the products. We use our fitment list on the bottom of the description. So if you have a different model like a V4R or an SP2, some stuff doesn't fit from a V4 or V4S. We always indicate it in there. And if you're not sure, I would suggest send us an email or call us before you place an order so that we could verify for you. Because the last thing you want is to do this in your own garage, or get your dealer to do this, or your installer. Because number one, installers are, they get frustrated, number one, because this is not something they do on a daily basis.
Yep.
And they're not familiar with some of these machines as much as we are. But number two, you don't want to dismantle a motorcycle because it's somebody's work time. That's how they make money, and get them to put it back, because you're not going to be happy, because you're going to have to be paying for the install that didn't happen. And they're not going to be happy because they're actually not getting any work done, because they're only taking the same stuff off and putting it back on there.
Yeah.
But we're an open book. We don't push products. If you guys want to buy something, we give you our honest opinion. And in terms of the fitment, if you're not sure, we're never going to tell you that it fits, because this is the type of stuff that we go through to make sure that everything we sell is tested, number one, and number two, that it's at least within the fitment list that we provide to you guys. So now's the time, guys. We have our instrument cluster cover with our lightweight Ducati Corsa logo.
Yes.
Our satin front subframe or headlight fairing stay. I use both because I know someone's going to come and call it something else.
Yep.
Here you go, guys. Let's see how this looks. You're going to have to bolt it down to pull it all in, but look at that.
It looks beautiful, man.
That looks awesome.
It looks amazing, especially with the clear windscreen.
Yeah.
You could see all that beautiful carbon in there.
I think it adds so much to the bike compared to the
Yes.
plastic pieces that was on there.
Yes.
So the next piece is our carbon fiber lever guard. It is a satin piece as well. As you may have guessed, everything is going satin on this bike.
Beautiful.
And it comes with these expanding adapters. So there's two in every kit that comes. There's a skinny one and a thicker one. So you have to double check the size of your bar. In this case, the thicker one is what you need. And how this works, let me show it to you guys so you get to see it. This is the tricky part, to start threading this in, because it's actually cut in an angle, and you'll see why that's cut in an angle. So once you start tightening this, it starts expanding just like this. You see how it starts expanding?
Yes.
So when it expands in here, you see it grips it, because this is knurled here so that it grips it. So that's how it works. And when you get it in there, first you want to do this. You want to try to tighten as much as possible. So that's why we're only running the brake lever guard on this bike, and on the other side, we're going to run our bar end, which is black, just to match things.
Yeah.
And this is perfect like this. And also, when you do this, or when somebody else installs it, make sure that you see a gap a little bit here. Last thing you want is your throttle grabbing onto whatever is at the end of your bar, be it a bar end or a clutch lever guard or a brake lever guard, or it's not going to be a clutch lever guard, it's going to be a brake lever guard, so that it doesn't jam your throttle in any way. So whenever you do anything, just make sure you check your throttle to make sure whatever you put on is not making your throttle stick. So we're installing our new TWM front axle sliders. And I'm happy that I had some input in this. When TWM was designing this, I said that we should make it two-piece so that we have color piece in here and a black piece outside, because if you're like me, red is cool, but too much red is not cool. So I want to keep a little bit of red and a little bit of black. So these look really, really cool. And hats off to Federico from TWM for coming up with a design that I think looks super clean. And if you take a look in here, look how cool that looks.
It's day 2 and the bike is almost done. Michael Knight is installing new chain and sprockets, taking us back to stock gearing on our Panigale V4 R. Stock gearing's 1542. And we got some beautiful, beautiful products here being put on this bike, and it's almost ready for us to take it outside, give you guys a walk around shot of it, and ride these beasts. Manny's almost done with his Panigale SP2 with all those beautiful carbon fiber parts, and we'll finally be able to see these two machines out in the wild together. Look at this beautiful thing out in the Miami sunshine, and it is absolutely outstanding. You did a fantastic job installing these parts, man. You worked your butt off. This is another day. He worked till 4 a.m. last night. We're here the next day so that we can enjoy how this machine looks out in the sunlight. Let's quickly talk, Mandy, about all the stuff you installed. The beautiful airbox or electronics cover, right? Because this isn't really...
Battery cover, top tank cover.
Okay.
But let's not forget about Michael Knight. We gotta say thanks. He's not here right now.
Yeah.
He had other things to do, but thank you to him too. He helped out a lot.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is the top tank cover. And then if you keep going forward, there's more carbon.
Yes.
A lot more carbon. So our front fairing stay / front subframe, our instrument cover, and then all these covers in here, everything is carbon. And also these air tube covers, as they're called. And everything fits so well.
It does. It really does. It's really gorgeous. We got to ride these bikes earlier, and what I like about it, Manny, is that when I'm on this machine, I'm looking down at the beautiful white, the carbon fiber and everything, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's really beautiful. You installed this onto the back. That's beautiful. We put a sticker on it.
Swing arm cover.
Yep, you put a sticker up there too. Swing arm cover, yeah.
The conversion kit, the 520.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that was beautiful.
And let's not forget, since we said carbon, we keep forgetting it because it's down here, but these, the exhaust extension pieces set in carbon.
Yes.
The sprocket cover in carbon. The frame covers in carbon.
Yes.
You know what I like? I always say it.
The cooling duct carbon.
The cooling ducts. But I'll never get tired of saying this. I love the fact that we forgot about some of the parts.
Yes.
Because that's the subtlety that I look in having these things, because you have to look around to find some of these parts. And especially on a bike like this, you don't take away from the beauty.
You do not.
You know?
It adds to it, actually.
This is such a, I'm so happy you came down, and I'm so happy that I got to see this. And on top of it, I'm so happy that you let me ride it. It's crazy how different it is.
Let's talk about that, because I rode your SP2. We rode them back to back, the carbon, full carbon SP2.
Yeah.
And we both have our opinions on this. I'll start with mine really quickly. I prefer, at the end of the day, the Panigale V4 R over the SP2 for the simple fact that this thing just revs to the moon. It revs in the higher gears to 16,500 RPM. And you can feel that, especially when you're engaging in smackdowns. And for the people that do track days, they feel that too. Aside from that, I didn't notice a real difference between the two machines.
The riding, this bike's a lot more aggressive in the seats.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, the bike is a lot more aggressive in the seating position, which I thought this would be because this is the R.
Yes.
And then I got to think about it. I'm mind boggled because I couldn't stop talking about it, right?
Yeah.
That these, to most people, be like, hey, it's the same model, just different things, but they're totally different bikes. The engine on this thing is so smooth.
998cc engine, different compression ratio. This one's 1103cc, but like we said earlier, this one revs about 2,000 to 3,000 RPM higher than this one, which is pretty darn significant. They both have the amazing new updated Ducati quick shifters and stuff, programming, so they work really great.
Also, what like looks aside, this bike feels so nimble. That bike comes with
Yes.
carbon wheels. I know that we added the carbon wheels to this. Just the whole nimbleness of things.
See, there we go again, not mentioning stuff that are very significant. Yes, he added the BST, carbon fiber wheels, the beautiful red stuff right there. And on both sides, they look great. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I love these things. I'm a Ducati fanboy, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
These things are so different than what everything else is that offers, like any other brand offers.
Yes.
There are some amazing bikes out there, let's not get it wrong. At the end of the day, I'm not like, hey, I only want Ducatis, I want all of them.
Yeah.
But, and then now I'm saying I want all the Ducatis too, because I want that bike and I want this bike, because you don't feel the same every day, and these things feel so different. I
Absolutely.
think it's, but this thing looks amazing.
It does
man.
look amazing.
The
To me,
paint
it looks
scheme.
better than the Superleggera V4.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Which means that Ducati is going to change that when they revise the Superleggera V4,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
I think that, like, remember when we first went to the New York motorcycle show, was in
2019.
2019. When I was like, I don't know about these winglets, because it was a new thing that they start putting on the bikes.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I like this. I don't like the Superleggera type winglet. I think it's a little too much, but let's not even go there.
Yeah.
But it's, I'm telling you, like, there's so, like, I can't believe how big of a difference that these things had.
Yes.
And the first thing I asked you, did you lower this thing?
Nope. Stock height. Stock
Because
height. Won't lower
when
any
you
bikes
jump on
anymore.
that and jump on this, the height
Yeah.
difference is, you're taller. Maybe you don't notice it as
I didn't
much.
notice it at all.
But
Not
I'm
at all.
tippy-toeing on this bike. Michael and I can't reach the ground on this bike.
Yeah.
And on this bike, I'm flat-footed.
Yeah.
And I was like, automatically, I'm like, hey, it's Eve, did he lower this thing? Because if he did, I'm not taking pictures of it. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But
Oh.
yeah, this feels much lower, and just how smooth it is. It's uncharacteristic of a Panigale V4 R. And on top of it, I'm not gonna lie, when you told me this is totally different than the old V4 R, I was like,
Yep.
whatever, you know?
Yes.
Until I rode it, I was like, man, I feel ashamed for judging you like that.
Absolutely,
Because
man.
it's got nothing to do with the old V4 R.
No, it does not. The 2019 model that I had,
Yeah.
totally different, friends.
This is all engine.
Yes.
It's, you know, you're paying for all engine, and whatever that they did to that engine is magical, you know?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's just, you could just tell it's not just a 100cc difference, it's all the internals and
Yes.
everything that they did.
You were talking about the clutch, the lighter clutch
Yeah,
and all
well,
that.
yeah, the clutches, this clutch, look, you can fit your finger in this clutch, that's how smaller it is.
Yes.
Because the engine case is the same on this
And then
one,
we go
there's-
to the dry clutch over here. Well,
there's no
yeah.
room.
Right.
I could put my nail in there and that's
Yeah.
it. But at the end of the day, so there are two different philosophies, right? With this bike, Ducati's like, how can we make the best base for a race bike? Because this is what that bike is. They have to make this bike to go racing and
Yes.
to dominate, and they did. That's why it has a number one, because they did win the World Superbike Championship last year
They won World Superbike in something else too.
at MotoGP.
MotoGP.
Yeah, but the MotoGP bikes are not closely related to this as
Yeah.
World Superbike, because World Superbike has to take this within the rules and modify it to go
Correct.
racing. And that's what this is. And that thing over there, as Ducati calls it, is a time attack machine.
Yes.
So it's two different philosophies coming from the same family of bikes, the Panigale V4, and they're so different. But I'm not going to ramble on, because
All right.
I'm,
We
I
can
am
talk to
just-
Mandy about this all night, as you see.
Yeah, I'll keep going about it.
Cool, man.
But yeah.
Well, once again, man, thanks for everything you did to my Panigale V4R. You guys stay tuned for more, because when I get this thing back home to Ohio, I'm going to put it on the streets, of course. We're going to do some smackdowns, and we will see how it handles in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Thanks so much, guys, for viewing the video. Thanks again to Manny from Motomillion.
You're welcome.
If you haven't already, subscribe to his YouTube channel, because he has awesome content, and we will catch you guys next time on the 650 Ebe YouTube channel. This is a beautiful machine.